Yes.
Love it.
You know, our show is ever evolving. Our show is just ever evolving. New things happening all the time. I sometimes wonder, you know, what was the reason we kind of got it started? I felt like a big part of it was just reconnecting with people, you know?
Yeah.
Connecting with, you know, the band's fans, music fans, just human beings. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. It's really because when we have a year and a half off between tours, we do miss our fans and miss that interaction. So we're starved for it. We're continuing to look for that attention we need to feed our
when we have a year and a half
narcissism.
off between tours. To be clear, we've never had a year and a half off between tours since our career began.
So this episode we're gonna do some fan questions. We asked the fans to send us some videos, to ask us just whatever the heck they want. So Dave, you want to see some? We haven't seen these.
Yeah,
not been screened. And we want to try to get to all of them, right? But there's a bunch, so we're not going to do all of them today. We're going to do some.
They're coming in droves.
What is a drove?
I don't know. Coming in droves. I don't know what a drove is. That's a good question. I hope somebody asks that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out.
I guess I hope somebody doesn't ask it because we're not going to be able to answer it.
So awesome. All right, let's get to our first question.
Let's try one. Okay.
Hey y'all, my name is Alexia and I'm from Oklahoma. And my question is, if you could make a new record anywhere in the world, where would you do it and why would you choose that place?
Alexia from OK. That's a good question. Dave, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting is because we're not necessarily the kind of band that ever records like, you know, in the most comfortable places. We like to take ourselves out of our comfort zones to go and make records. And, you know, for a lot of us, we lived in Vancouver and we did a bunch of our records in California. And then, you know, we've done our last few records in London, England, which has been amazing. Honestly, I've loved being sort of completely removed from just like the regular world and feeling just immersed in the process. So we are the kind of band that, you know, I could see us going somewhere and recording somewhere strange. If we could go anywhere and record anywhere, that is a tough question.
I would say probably the island where from the TV show Lost.
Is that Hawaii or something?
Yeah, but the real island. You know, not Hawaii. Hawaii. Yeah, you know what? Scratch that. Hawaii. Hawaii would be amazing. We could go to the place where they filmed Lost and jam, Dave. We could come up with some song ideas on the beach. You know what we get done on the beach? Nothing. We would.
Starting to think maybe that record that wouldn't be as productive as you know, like rainy London. It's like
that's right.
It's another rainy day in London. What are we going to do? Well, let's get back to making the record. What else is there to do?
Yeah. Well, it's fun looking out the window with your cup of tea.
Yep.
And then just looking at all the. Yeah, I don't know. Sweden. Maybe
we've actually talked about that a little bit, doing a record in Sweden, and I think it sounds really exciting and interesting to think about that. Who knows? We could do a record, our next record back in the States, or we really don't know. But if I could pick a place, let's just go with Hawaii. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do our next record in Hawaii. Thank you for that suggestion. I don't think that was even a question. I think that was a suggestion. I'll take it.
Sweet. There you go. Thanks, Alexia. Next question. Let's do it.
Hi, Tyler and Dave. It's Nicholas from Ohio. My question is, if you had to play in either standard or drop tune for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
That's easy. Standard for me.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Standard. I kind of think about just like how I play guitar at home and how I utilize it when I'm just when I'm off, not touring. And a lot of it is just playing my acoustic guitar, strumming songs, playing songs. Kind of like how I picture my dad just like sitting at the kitchen table with his book of songs, strumming his guitar. I think you need standard. That's just like if you want to play a bunch of songs,
Yeah.
you got to be able to play standard tuning.
I think my acoustic is in drop D in my living room right now. And so I'll go pick it up and I'll go to play something and you don't know it's in drop D until you hit the D and you're like, no,
Right.
You blew it. And then it kind of ruins the whole vibe. You're like, oh, God, this is really cool. And I don't know. Yeah, the drop D thing is cool for like chugging and riffs. But yeah, when you want to play guitar, I always just like, tune it up. Yeah, that gets old fast.
Yeah, I felt like the drop D for me was really, almost like when I was first starting to learn to play, it became this kind of neat trick to kind of just, change the way you approached writing riffs. And it was interesting because, it almost felt like cheating when you first learned drop D. You were like, whoa, this blew my mind here.
It's
I
not,
make
yeah.
these monster chords with one finger.
Yeah, because it's not even a chord. It's actually just it's not even a chord. It's only two notes.
Chord.
It's a 5 chord. Yeah. It's a 5. Yeah. Interval.
So it almost felt like cheating, but you know what? It's fun because I think of like being when you first started writing, trying to write guitar parts and riffs. The drop D, it felt so comfortable, like you could just get in there and just like write something, and it just felt, that's how you write heavy stuff. It's and almost like you outgrow it almost, and you're like, drop D. It has a time and a place. Has a time and a place now.
That's it. That's a great way to end it. There's a time and a place for drop D. And thanks, Nicholas. I don't know if people call you Nick, but maybe we'll see you at the next show, bro. Ohio.
I love talking guitar and stuff like that. We've rapped a little bit about maybe doing a gear kind of guitar episode. We should get to that sometime.
Let's do it. Next question.
How many theory tattoos have you seen on people? Because I know I have one. I'm just wondering if you could give a guesstimate.
Oh.
Ooh, it would definitely be double digits. Looking at I would say in our lifetime, how many theory tattoos have we seen? There's quite a few.
Hundreds. I don't know. We see them every show. Meet and greet.
Yeah.
There's always a fan in every meet and greet that has a theory tattoo.
Autographs. They've got our autographs tattooed from the last time we saw them. Lyrics. A lot of lyric tattoos. The Angel of Death from the first record.
That's
tattoos.
Right. Yeah, there's quite a bit. Yeah, I think I've seen one with the Four Skulls autographs. But anytime someone wants you to autograph them, they'll say, like, I want to get this tattooed. So you're like, are you sure? This won't come off. Are you sure you want to get my name tattooed on you? And they're like, yep. Yeah. Okay, but then you put it like,
okay, then I'll make it look good instead of putting a half-ass effort into it.
Get out of here, kid.
Let me make it look good for you. You know what? I'm going to do something special for you, kid. Make it look good.
Well, like it's
you're tattooing it.
It's funny when you join a band too, because like the autograph thing just happens. It's not like you prepare for it. It's not like you sit at home and like on a piece of paper.
Right.
No. It's just like someone's like, "Can you sign this?" You're like, "Sure," and you're like, spell out your whole name like with a crayon. You're like, "I don't know what I'm doing." It's funny, like when I go somewhere,
they drop 500 CD booklets in front of you, and they're like, "Sign these," and then your signature goes from every letter to just a couple letters and a lot of lines, just some lines.
I even stopped doing the L's in my last name. Now it's like T-C.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, exactly. Sign these 1,000 booklets. You don't have to sign them today. And then it's like, nope, you said.
Arm is burning.
Yeah, got to get them done.
that's kind of gone away a little bit too, actually, the CD booklet thing, just because there's not as many copies of that kind of thing. We're just like signing vinyls and stuff like that, which is awesome.
The lady that asked that question didn't say her name or where she's from, but I'm going to say she looks like a Kelly. If I was to guess.
A Kelly from Cali. Maybe she's from Cali.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a Callie from Kelly. Maybe her mom.
Well, it's hard to know for sure. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Next question.
What up, Tyler? What up, Dave? This is Austin from Oklahoma City. I've got to meet you guys here a couple times over the years at the good old Diamond Ballroom. Fellas, today my question is, well, I'm a big fan of you guys, obviously, but I'm also a huge country music fan. And what I'm curious about is there a group or just a song that you guys have talked about covering on one of your future albums, or even if it's just a single or on an EP? If you guys are into country music as well, and if so, how much, and what's someone in particular you'd like to cover? Appreciate it, fellas.
That's Austin from Oklahoma.
A lot of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to make our record in Oklahoma, although there's tornadoes there.
That's the alley, baby.
It's
the alley.
Tornadoes. Let's answer this question. Are we country music fans first? I mean, I almost think of country music as like probably my first musical love. My dad was a huge country music fan, and he liked all the outlaws, the Highwaymen, Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and all that stuff. And so I kind of feel like, in a weird way, I cut some of my musical teeth on country music, and it holds a very dear place, in my heart. And I don't know you personally. I know that you definitely write some stuff with a country feel, so you must have some country influence.
Well, more Southern rock. Like, our first record was very Southern rock. But yeah, we could definitely do some country stuff. Any songs? I mean, I've done some country covers. I think I sent some clips of some Toby Keith and some Garth Brooks. But we had, Joe Don Rooney from Rascal Flatts sang and played guitar on one of our songs, which was a song called "Live My Life Like a Country Song."
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always a little bit of that country flair and the stuff that we do, like even songs like "Hate My Life." That was almost like a Friends in Low Places kind of feel, where it was just like a guy and a guitar. So yeah, but I don't know. I don't see why not. It might be cool to do.
I like covering wise. I could see like doing Sturgill Simpson or something. He's got this, cool kind of experimental sound. He's doing some I don't know, kind of new stuff in country. I think it could be cool to find something. He actually has done like a Nirvana cover and on some of his records. So it almost seems like it would be a perfect marriage. A little Sturgill.
Yeah, that'd be good. There you go.
Yeah. Good
Let's
question.
look into it.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. Thanks, Austin. Let's do another one. How many more we got? We got some.
I don't really know, to tell you the truth. We got
just 1,000, Dave. 1,000.
We can't get to them all, but here we go.
Hey guys, so if something were to happen and you could no longer be musicians, what is something that you think you would want to really do for the rest of your life? Something you think you would really enjoy? I look forward to the answers. Thanks, guys.
Great question. Because we've probably thought about this a lot in the early days. What am I going to do with my life when this is all over?
I love the setting. So if something were to happen, so you couldn't do your job, like here we are sitting at
COVID.
home, we're like,
let's start a podcast.
I thought about this is awesome. And, it's funny is that you don't think about this really, and I don't anyway, at too much length. Like, what would I do? Because I don't feel like I need to put too much energy into what would I do. But, I've sent you a few things. Like I sent you some astronomy classes and stuff that I keep seeing that pop up and I have this interest in like kind of, doing some kind of education in astronomy.
Going back to school?
And yeah, not necessarily going back to school. I don't want to be Rodney Dangerfield and back to school. And I'm like, hey, I'm on the swim team doing the triple axel. Even though I think I could pull that off.
I love it. There's 4 people that know what movie that is. What was the? He used to do the bum drop, and he'd go from.
Yeah.
What was it called? It was called the triple. Was it? Oh, it was so good. Oh my God, what a great! Yeah, you would be totally. Hey.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I definitely think that I'd love
Harvard?
to do something to do with outer space. Take some classes,
Astronaut.
go and discover some stars or some kind of like planet killing meteors, that kind of thing.
Dave, if you go hard. So I would say first man to Mars.
Maybe
No.
first man to eat a Mars bar.
Is there? I just wrote this new book called "Is There Weed in Space" by Dave Benner. That question's easy for me. Oh God, like Siri is like trying to get the hell out of here. That's an easy question for me. If I couldn't be a musician, I would just be a bass player.
I knew it was coming. That's so terrible.
It's so terrible. Oh no. Poor
Seems
Dean.
like I was just gonna say, it seems like a time to get up the Dean counter. What do you got for real answer to the question? You got to have something.
It's similar though. I don't know what it is as soon as you get older. Because what's her face from The Professional? What's the actress's name?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. Didn't she like go back to Harvard, graduate, I think she did. And then the singer from River Cuomo. Who's the singer from Weezer?
Yeah, that sounds right.
He went back to something like that, Harvard or something, and graduated in I don't know what. But I don't know. There is something weird, almost like because being in a band, you do you kind of ditch school. They're really not very educated people. At least I can speak for myself. So it's like
for me too.
Not a lot of school, not a lot of high school, no college really. And then it's just like now you kind of have some more downtime. You're like, I could go to college, I could do this. But I remember you talked about that astronomy class, and the first thing I said to you was like, well, how many hours is it? And you're like, it's like 40 hours. I'm like, well, how much is it? And you're like, it's like $600. I'm like, yeah, I could blow that, because then $600 and then I can I won't feel bad when I bail.
It got too daunting. I got scared because I was like, this gives you 3 college credits. And I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on.
Towards your doctorate.
This might be too legit for me. I don't think I can hang with this real life. And it's funny, as I went out last night and started talking with some friends, of course, my wife and like one of her colleagues. So it's like doctors, we're talking about doctors, and they're talking about them in high school. And I'm just like, oh yeah. Nice. Meanwhile, I'm talking about how I got kicked out of library assistance class. And had
the only guy to fail spare.
Yeah. And only reason I graduated is because Phil Ayers created a class called Guitar Science 12
That's right.
for me after I got kicked out of library assistance. I just can't relate to doctors who are like, I had to, have 4.0, I don't know, everything. I'd be in the best honors class, this. And I'm like, man, I had a spare every block, and I was just not showing up to school.
No. If I had a spare in the afternoon, then I would go home at lunch.
Not come
And
back.
that's it. I wouldn't go back. And I failed that class. It was science or something. That was failed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So now you look back and you're like,
yeah,
I'd like to be educated. Why? Because I'm sort of skipped that part of my life.
exactly. It's got to be what it is. So there you go. That's a good question.
That was a great question.
Some great answers. Great answers. Yes. And you know what? She didn't say where she was from in her name either, but she's definitely a Lacey. I'm going to say.
Oh,
definitely a Lacey.
Massachusetts. I'm thinking Massachusetts.
Lacey from Mass.
Yep. Thanks for coming out with that one, Lacey.
She parked a car up there at Harvard Yard in Boston, or what?
I like it.
All right, let's see another one.
I think we're probably running out. We got a couple more queued up. There we go.
Yeah.
Hi Tyler and Dave, my name's Toby from London, England. My question for you guys is, although we're massive fans of bands like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue, do you think it's bad for their legacy that they have singers like Axl and Vince who, with respect, don't sing as well as they used to?
That's cool. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. How do we answer this without getting beat up?
I take something sort of. Sometimes I try to look at things in a different perspective. That's how I put it. And being a big hockey fan, I often think of things in like a hockey term and hockey sense. And you see like the young players, and that's when they're playing the best, and they're awesome, and they score, and they get interviewed, and they just like shoot out the BS answers, and they just like their little hockey robots, kind of like what you are when you get started. And then you kind of learn throughout their career. They get to the end of their career, and it's like, they don't have like the flash they used to have when they were younger, but now they're honest. Thanks. They take the stuff that they've learned. People are learning from them. And, I don't think that you get to a point where you start to consider your legacy anymore. You start to think now just about taking your opportunity to continue to enjoy what you love to do. And I think about it in terms of bands like, say, Alice in Chains, who lost their singer. And then like they get together and they get a new singer, and people are like, I don't know, is that right? And I just think about the band guys that want to play together. They played music together forever, and they just want to play music together. And I get to this point where I think the whole idea of your legacy and what it means, it starts to not be as important as the fact that, you get to continue to do what you love to do. And I don't think it sullies the legacy in the long run of a band like, say, Motley Crue. For Vince Neil to be able to go out there and not be able to pull off what he could pull off back in the day, it doesn't take away from him now. He could do it. So now it's like he's getting out, he's bringing these people the memory. They all know that he's not 25-year-old Vince Neil. They're getting the Vince Neil that is able to come out and perform for them now and give them that amazing time. So, I mean, I love to see it. I don't want these people to just cut their career short. Like, there's the band, for example, who just went and did like The Last Waltz. And it's like, hey, we're at our prime. We're going to just have one last show, invite some friends and end it on a high note. I mean, that's really awesome. But then I look at it and go, I just would love to have had a chance to see you guys, even not on your high note.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How come you never say what the band's name was that did The Last Waltz?
Yeah. The band, bro. The band.
No, let me ask you one more time. Yeah. I mean, being a singer, I'll tell you, like I went and, our vocal coach here in town, she has a bunch of other people in opera, and she does the singer from Paramore and stuff. And it's all, we all have the same freaking problem. As we get older, our voice changes. And she actually said that men's voices don't change until they sometimes get into their 40s. It's not like a puberty thing. It's actually like, and she says she's seen opera singers that will be a tenor, and then they'll get to the 40, and then they'll become a bass, and their career is over because then they can't sing any of that stuff. So that's the one thing that's kind of frustrating being a singer, is that the inevitability of you will not be able to hit that stuff. I'm not going to be able to sing Bad Girlfriend when I'm 70 years old. It ain't happening.
All the bases are like, oh, look who came around, huh? What, the tenors don't want you no more?
Yeah.
Oh, the tenors, they don't want to know you hanging out with the bass? Yeah. Beat it.
You're with the real man now. You're with the real man now, bitch. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a little scary, but yeah, Dave's right. Like, we just want to play. We want to perform. So it's tough, too, because when you're young, I remember going in with Howard Benson on our second record, and the first thing he said to us is like, we need to pitch this stuff up. We need to make this stuff like higher. And we're like, okay. Of course, didn't really figure it out till we got in the studio, and I'm singing like everything at the top of my range. And his idea was like, let's just make some great songs. You can figure it out later how to sing it. Yeah. So obviously I sang it, but like, how do you sing that every night for the next 20 or 30 years? Right. So, I mean, he was right, but yeah, it all catches up to you. So I'm sure it kind of is what it is, especially in the 80s when you have a lot of that. The cool thing to do in the 80s was to sing like a woman. Every guy in the 80s sang as high. Yeah. think about
Sebastian Bach.
I was just going to say Sebastian Bach, like Slave to the Grind. And he was just, everything was about trying to sing as high as you can and to actually wear makeup like a woman. So now we're here in 2021 and it's really difficult for them to pull that off. So, but you do what you got to do, man. You got to do. That's a great question.
Yep. These are good questions, guys. Well done out there. Do we have any more questions?
We have one more question, Dave. Let's see it.
Hey, boys. Joel with Funky Moose Records and the Sit Down podcast here. Wanting my question. We've actually heard that. No. Hey, boys. Joel from the Sit Down podcast from Funky Moose Records here. Small town Saskatchewan. Want to know if you guys will accept this invitation to come on our podcast. Can maybe elaborate on the story we heard from Weapons that you guys coined the term W3 APONs. That'd be awesome, boys. Thanks.
I was going to say, what is Weapons? But then when he said W3
that's that Canadian
APONs,
band.
Then I realized. So yeah, our last tour that we just did before the pandemic hit was a Canadian cross-Canada tour. And we did the tour with a band. Are they from Saskatchewan? They're from Saskatchewan, I think. They're called Weapons. And they were a bunch of great young kids. I think it was kind of one of their first real tours across the country. And our first show was in Vancouver, and they had signs for their dressing room. And I guess their logo, their band name logo, the E is a backwards 3 or something like that. And so we just, what you like to do, there's always a little bit of razzing. There's a little bit of razzing with, young bands when they get on a tour with you. And it's all out of love and appreciation, But we always love to give a little razz. So I saw, the W3 APONs, and we're like, we gotta call them W3 APONs. So we all introduced ourselves to them. Hey, what's up, guys? You're the boys in W3 APONs. Nice to meet you.
I think you led that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good tour. The Theory and W3 APONs cross Canada tour is going to be a good run, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know what? I'm going to introduce you tonight on stage too. Their name, W3 APON sounds like an internet password or something.
Yes, it is. You need to have one number and one piece of punctuation in your password.
One capital. Yeah, so the guy has a podcast called Sit Down Podcast from Funky Moose Records.
Let's do it. Let's go on their podcast. I'm down.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. I want to know where. He said small town Saskatchewan. Like, we're not going to know where it is. Come on, man. There's places out there called
small. We've been to every town in Saskatchewan, all 3.
That's right.
Okay? So
there's a town called, where's Buffalo Jump? There's a place called Buffalo Jump. Is that Alberta? There's Moose Jaw. There's another one too, isn't there? There's another one with something to do with animals falling off a cliff or something.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Interesting names up there in the prairies. Yeah, sure. There you go. We accepted it. So that was fun, man. The fan questions are fun. We'll do another bout of this. We've got some more in the can. And you know what? Don't be afraid. Send your video questions to bandmeetingpodcast@gmail.com. Please make sure to say your name and where you're from, so we don't.
Otherwise, we're going to tell you your name and where you're from.
That was fun, Dave.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I love the connection, like we said earlier. It's good to see these faces and hear their questions, and just look forward to just getting back out and rubbing our faces together soon.
I can't wait to do some inward singing, mouth to mouth with one of you guys. But anyways, follow us on our socials, Band Meeting Podcast and all that crap. Check out our merch store, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Dave, anything else?
No, I think just it was fun. We'll see you next time, and cue outro music.
Bye.